Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. Today we are talking about one of those things that I get asked multiple times, and that is how do I meal plan with people with three different dietary needs? I need another sip of coffee, sorry. So, my husband has to have lower sugar. He had type 2 diabetes. We really changed our diet. Within a year, he's been off of the insulin for almost a year now. I guess he's at 6 months, 7 months, 7 months without insulin. I this year have been struggling with my blood pressure, so I have to do low sodium. And then my daughter has to go gluten free and she limits her dairy. The gluten is not celiac, but it is something that she really does not feel good when she has gluten. So we have really taken her completely off of gluten. So that can be kind of hard if you look at it. You've got salt, you've got sugar, you have dairy, and you have wheat. That's like in everything. So kind of how we mitigate this, how we plan it, and how we execute meals and make it work for us. And this may or may not work for you, but um, it takes away the overwhelm for me and it makes it very easy. And I'm not cooking multiple meals at the same time. That's something that I do not do. If we have a free for all night, everybody gets to make whatever they want. But if I'm cooking, I'm not making three different meals for three different people. So that is something that we're going to go over really fast. So I have hiccups all of a sudden. So when I was working outside the home in an office job, then I kept my meal planning on my calendar. And I knew what I needed to take out when, what I needed to start when. Um, if I did a lot more crock pot cooking. Um, that wasn't very, we didn't have all the dietary restrictions that we have now when I was doing that. With that being said, we probably should have been on those dietary restrictions at that time. We just weren't doing it and we didn't know. So, one of our big things that we have done is gotten away from one pot meals. The only things that we have one pot meals on are the soup and stir fry. For the most part, I think that's the only thing that we do a one pot meal on. It Most of them have some sort of cheese to bring them together. You usually need to salt certain pieces of things. Um, just things shift when you start putting everything together. And even though it may taste absolutely delicious at times, um, we really stayed away from that and it has helped us immensely. So, what I do now, because I am working from home basically doing my YouTube, during my daughter's graduation party, we got these cute little boards, and they're chalkboards. I got them at Hobby Lobby for like $3.99 each. They were on clearance. So I have these hanging up for now. I've tried like the fridge magnet things. We've tried all different types of things. This is kind of working and it's cute, and it gives everybody a bird's eye view of what is happening. Now, anytime I meal plan, I'm taking into consideration what is happening during that week, right? I don't usually meal plan more than a week out unless I know for sure what's going on. So we switch things around a little bit sometimes. This week's meal plan is kind of different because this is my mom's last week here visiting us. And so after this week, things are going to go back to kind of our normal diet plan and go that route. But we have a couple of things on here that are special because she's in town. So we For the most part, we'll do like hamburger without buns. We have no problem with that. My husband and I do the hamburger patty with balsamic vinegar on it. My daughter does the hamburger patty with barbecue sauce on it. And then we have something as a side, a vegetable, a salad, a whatever on the side with it. And then let's see, this week, you can see how it's going to be different for this one. So we're doing egg salad sandwiches. This is not something on our normal schedule, because eggs, I can have some, but I usually don't pop it full with this stuff because this is going to be saltier, and with the bread. But this will make my mom happy. So we're going with that. For lunch today, though, is BLTs. So that is like our big thing. And then I try to balance my diet on how much sodium I'm having. And I usually give it one meal, gets more of it. Okay, so tomorrow I'm gonna roast a chicken, and we're doing balsamic carrots. Now, I would not normally do sandwiches for 2 meals in a day. However, it's 105 today, and I really don't want to turn on the oven. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I did the oven this morning to make the bread, and then we're done. So Monday will be the roasted chicken and balsamic carrots. Tuesday in our house is tacos, so I didn't do it this last week. My daughter was like, we didn't have tacos on Tuesday. So everybody kind of knows we have tacos on Tuesday. It can be a chicken taco, it can be beef taco, it could be pork, it could be, we've had breakfast tacos, like it just is in a tortilla, and it's good. For the most part, though, we do street tacos. We don't put a lot of extra stuff on it. So we'll do meat. We'll have some sort of probably grilled onion for my husband and I to put on it, and a salsa of some sort, and that's kind of what's on it. Fish tacos has more. It has like a slaw or something. So tacos is going to be Tuesday, and we're doing beef tacos this week. I will be on Tuesday taking the bones from the roasted chicken from Monday, and I will be boiling them down and making broth, and then Wednesday will be soup day. So that one is, again, one of our one pot meals. I do not add salt to the soup anymore. And if people want to add salt to it, they can. I just up my other seasonings, and I'm good. The chicken naturally has salt in it from what's put into it. So that has sodium, carrots have sodium, everything has sodium. So when you add everything in together, it's already a high sodium thing, but it's delicious, and you don't really need all the salt to it. So I usually have the Celtic sea salt, the Florida, what is it? The flaky salt, that if people want to add onto food afterwards, they can. There's a few things that my husband and my daughter both use the flaky sea salt on, and I just cook it with no salt, and then we're good. Okay, and then I have a sweet potato hash. This is one that will become a one pot, but it's kind of started separately. So this one I'm careful with, because I have to be careful with how much sausage I have, because it's very salty. So I'll usually do the sausage first in the pan, and then I'll take it out, cook down the sweet potatoes, add some cranberries, some frozen cranberries to it, cook it down, and then what I'll do is when I go to dish it up, I'll add the sausage back in. Everybody gets whatever amount of sausage they want, but it's the sliced sausage. So that's kind of the sweet potato hash. Friday this week we're going to In-N-Out for my mom's last night here, and then Saturday we're doing another roasted chicken with vegetables, because I didn't do roasted chicken this week either, and my daughter was missing it. So we're going to do another one, and so that's kind of how I balance it. And I really try to do a variety. I usually have a chicken during the week. I will usually have a soup of some sort. Either it's something made with broth. So it's not like a typical chicken noodle soup. I do like a garden pot soup. It'll let me clear out all the vegetables I have in the house. I can use up one bell pepper, one carrot, half an onion, whatever I have left over. A couple radishes. If I have a turnip in there, I get to throw it in there. It gives me a way to get those things used up before they go bad, right? Plus we're getting the good bone broth. So I usually do a chicken, and then I usually do something made with a broth in a week. Um, and even in the heat, it's not that bad. Not everybody always wants soup in the heat. Um, but if I do it less brothy to where it's more like I do bigger chunks of carrot and potato or whatever, almost like what you would see in a beef stew, but it's in a chicken broth with some turmeric. It's pretty good. So they do that. The hash I'll sometimes put in there. I want to get in the rotation of doing a cauliflower pizza again on one of the days. My family likes it when we do that. I have a hard time with that with the sodium, but I can figure that out. We usually try to do a beef, something with red meat in it. My husband really enjoys red meat, so we try to do that. I do not cook bacon the times my daughter's here because she hates the smell of bacon. So I usually don't include that if she's here. So the other thing with meal planning is if I'm doing something that it has more bread or more of a carb in it that is going to process into sugars for my husband, I'm going to usually have balsamic vinegar somewhere in the dish. I've done a video before about how great balsamic vinegar is, why we use it, the difference it's made for us. And I can link that below. But so the roasted chicken and the carrots, right? That is the balsamic carrots. Those carrots can get really sweet, and the balsamic on them. Anytime you have balsamic, it helps your body kind of regulate the sugars better itself. And so if I'm going to have something that's more carb, I'm going to try to have a drizzle of some flavored balsamic somewhere in the dish. Or I'll have something like a sauerkraut added in, something good fermented for the gut. So we'll do that sauerkraut, just a spoonful of sauerkraut with a hamburger. We'll do it with our roasted chicken, whatever we need. Now I still eat sauerkraut. I just choose. I count my sodiums very carefully, and I choose to use that as part of my sodium for the day. And then let's say we're doing a pasta night. I do a bigger pot for 2 people with the regular pasta, and then I make 1 pot of gluten-free pasta. That's the time that I do separate. I do something separate for the gluten-free because it's just we don't like the gluten-free pasta. My daughter loves the gluten-free pasta, so it works. Flavor them the same, and we're good to go. So pasta is the one area where I will do 2 separate pots. For the most part, though, any bread can almost be replaced with a tortilla. Homemade corn tortillas are delicious. They're soft and yummy and good, and they can take the place of a lot of bread items. We are doing a lot of baked goods that are gluten free. So that takes that craving for a carb for her out. So we'll do this. Leftovers are usually lunches. That's going to usually be my lunch. Then we go through and we schedule our breakfast. Now, I try to line up to where we're not doing like the same things on the same days. So I don't want eggs in the morning and then an egg salad sandwich for dinner. That's just weird. So too much egg. So if it's lower sodium, then we'll move it to with dinner's a high sodium. I'm doing a lower sodium breakfast. And that's just for everybody in the house, trying to make it a little bit easier. So breakfast for us, we have my daughter's about to start college. My husband works out of the home Monday through Friday, and then I am home, but I am doing all my YouTube stuff and my blog. So it kind of, everybody has different schedules a little bit, but we want to make sure we have a good breakfast. So I will have yogurt in the house for me, and a lot of times breakfast for me is some fruit and some yogurt. And then my husband, a lot of times, wants some sort of frozen breakfast, something that he could take out, microwave, and eat on his way out. He's not a big morning person. My daughter changes it up. She likes high protein as much as possible. She's not super fond of eggs, though. So this is usually somewhere where she'll have some sort of dairy as well. She'll eat eggs, but we try to do, like, she loves like collards and eggs. So the fall is a great season for that. We will do cereal with I like coconut milk. My husband switched over to coconut milk too, and then my daughter likes oat milk. So we usually will have that on the menu. Sometimes we'll do waffles, and if we do waffles, my daughter's making her gluten-free waffles herself, and I'm making the sourdough waffles. And then we just kind of balance it on who's going to be here, what the week's going to be like, and then any leftover, like the waffles, anything leftover, we freeze. So that way the next time it's so if we do waffles on a weekend, we have extras, we freeze them. On a weekday, we can have waffles for breakfast without me having to do any work. And it makes it quick and easy and painless. So that is kind of how we meal plan. We do individual a meat, a protein, a vegetable, and then a starch sometimes. We don't always have a starch. There are some meals that are all starch. It is what it is. But like if we do a pasta night or something like that. But for the most part, we try to have a meat, a vegetable, and a starch. And then we try to stay away from the one pot meals, because those end up with so many things added to it and so much extra stuff that it is off the charts on what it's going to mess with all of us in one way or another. So we stay away from that. We plan according to what we have in the house, so we're not wasting food, and we just go for it. And we are very honest with each other. So we're very honest with each other about how we feel about the food and what it tastes like. One thing we've learned is that my husband didn't necessarily have a full filter, like say, hey, I'm full. But if the food has good flavor, he's satisfied, and then he doesn't want to eat more. And so learning how to flavor things correctly, cooking at home is huge. Learning how to flavor it, trying to do as many whole foods as possible. You really don't, like, once you stop eating as much salt, you don't feel like you need to add salt to anything. There's a couple times with potatoes that happens, like I want to add salt, but other than that, like, you get used to it. And salt's something easy. If people want to add it, they can add it to something. Sugar, if I'm cooking and something needs sugar, like there's sometimes the spaghetti sauces are too acidic, made from fresh tomatoes and stuff. So every once in a while I'll do like a tablespoon of sugar into that, but I use my pure cane sugar and try to make it that doesn't, it still spikes, but it doesn't spike it as bad. And then we're just aware for the rest of the meals for that day, right? And just trying to plan around and work with what you have. So the other thing that I do is if I'm testing something or trying new recipes, I add that in the next day for a meal. So this week for breakfast, we're going to do waffles. So I have my sourdough starter going again. So I'm going to make waffles. We'll probably eat them because I'm going to do that for like a breakfast lunch when my aunt's here. And then Tuesday we'll have oatmeal. Wednesday we'll have eggs and hash browns. Wednesday though, I'm doing some recipe testing. So Thursday we'll have pumpkin biscotti for breakfast. Friday, my mom's last day here, we're going to do waffles again as a treat. And then Saturday, it is a U-Pick farm day, and we're going to the airport. So we're leaving the house at like 3 in the morning. We're going to eat out because we're not going to be back till like noon or 1 o'clock or something like that. So we're eating out that day. And then that's kind of what I go through. And then on Sunday next week, I'll go through and I'll figure out what we're going to have for that week. And so we'll rotate through. That way we don't get bored. I usually try to keep themes. I'll get back onto my themes where it's the roasted item or a roasted item, sometimes a barbecued item. We'll do the soup of some sort, right? We are going to do probably a hash or a stir fry, something along those lines. And then tacos, that's a must. Always have to have tacos. And then we'll get back into a pasta night as well. And that kind of helps me go, okay, so this is going to be a pasta night this week. This is going to be the barbecue night this week. This is going to be tacos always on Tuesday. And kind of go for there. Sometimes I'll have a free-for-all night if we have a lot of leftovers going on. I'll say free-for-all. I'm off duty. You guys make whatever you want or have whatever you want. So that's always great too. But if you have a family that has all kinds of different restrictions, or if you are just getting used to cooking at home, and you have been eating out a lot, but the cost of eating out has gone out a ton, I highly suggest figuring out what it is that your family likes, and then go the whole food route. Do a whole actual chicken, and somebody can have the breasts, somebody can eat the legs. That's how kind of it works, and then use that and make broth and make a soup of some sort. My daughter doesn't like soups, but we've gotten it down to where when she's here, I do the thicker, more stew-like that has some broth with it, because the broth is good for her. It's the texture she doesn't like. Roasting vegetables, great. You just rotate that out seasonally. So make it fun, make it easy. Schedule in your fun eating out stuff. We have stopped rewarding ourselves with eating out. We actually don't feel as good eating out. So again, we have it on the schedule this week because that is my mom's last day, and they don't have In-N-Out where she is. So she will be very excited to have that. But write it down. Some people, if you are not good about following the daily thing, don't even put a day next to it. Like, this is the meals that I can make this week, and you mark them off as you go. And as that day comes up, you're like, I could do a more involved meal. Great, put that on that day. If you need to do something that's quick and easy and have a variety of types of meals, which is great. Some of these are quick and easy. Some of these take a lot more time in the kitchen. And so scheduling the hands-off style versus the hands-on style meals, depending on what's going on for you for that day, is really important. If you have meal planning tips, let me know. If you have dietary things that you found a workaround with, let me know. I think it's fun to learn from other people. Tortillas solve everything for gluten-free, I swear. So that's kind of was our go-to. We are working really hard on upping our gluten-free game, which is kind of fun. So we're doing all kinds of fall cooking right now and experimenting. So that's kind of fun. But figure out what works for you and go for it. I highly suggest not cooking 3 different meals or 2 different meals even at the same time. You will get burnt out very fast, and it's going to make you want to eat out. So finding a way to create pieces and then somebody may not like all 3 pieces. They eat 2 of them, and other people eat a different 2. Like, it works. So you put it on the table, they choose what they want. And I just stay away from the one pot meals. So, yeah, I hope that helped in some way. That's kind of how we do it. I feel like I rambled a little bit in this, but I hope I brought it back around. I will see you on the next video. We have all kinds of fun stuff planned coming up. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are my video days. So just subscribe, stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one.